Death's greatest test, when it happens, is that of our faith in God. We'll repeat that one more time. The greatest test that death gives us is of our faith to God. Job's wife was distressed so much until she asked the husband, please curse God and die. This is too much. When David loses his child, he had fasted so much for the child to be alive. This didn't come to pass. Later on, gives up and he says, let me go eat. For where the child has gone, I will go. But where I am, the child can't come. I'm reminded of Mary. When the brother Lazarus dies, Mary cries so much. And when Jesus appears, Mary cries and says, Lord, had you been here, my brother would not have died. Yet Christ was right there. Death's greatest test is that of our faith in God. She said, Jesus himself cried on the cross. Death shook Christ until Christ cried to the Father, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Allow me to impress and to ask these words. That even though death may test our faith, I have a friend called Jesus. And that friend is here with us today. And Mary said, had you been here, brethren, I would like to let you know that that friend called Jesus is here today. And is here to give us hope. Number 2. I have come to this conclusion, brothers and sisters, that the uncertainty of death should awaken our dull senses to live consciously and rightly with God at all times. If you agree with me, please say amen.
Amen.
I repeat that one more time for those who may not have heard this. The uncertainty of death should awaken our dull senses to live consciously right with God at all times. I beg to ask this question. Who seated here this afternoon, by virtue of your works, is guaranteed to have tomorrow? If you're there, just raise your hand and we'll thank God for you. If you're there today and by the virtue of your works, you are guaranteed that tomorrow is there for you, you can raise your hand and we'll thank God for you. And because the uncertainty of death should awaken our dull senses, then listen to these 2 things. There is no room for procrastination. Never say, let me live it now, my life in fullness, I have tomorrow. No, brothers and sisters, we've got today. And so there should be no room for a sinful life that you may have a righteous one tomorrow. I say that to all of us here today. I was sharing with my members in my church, in my congregation, and I kept on telling them, make a difference in your life today, in whichever facet of life that you are in. If you be a doctor, be faithful in your work as a doctor. If you are a teacher, be faithful in your work as a teacher. If I be a pastor, let me be faithful in my work as a pastor. Be you a politician, be faithful in your work as a politician. You never know when the Lord calls. For tomorrow is not guaranteed to us. Elijah's life speaks to us here today. Let me mention it last thing. Even when we say death's greatest test is that of our faith, and even when we say that the uncertainty of death should awaken our dull senses, believe you me, there are some who will still leave this place and live as if they have a tomorrow. There are those who live as if you have 1,000 years from now or 70 years from now. You know, the old man, Elder Thomas Osiemo, that has come and stood here, he said, the very view of his son's body in a casket is devastating. Most of us couldn't feel those words because maybe we may not have gone through what he has gone through. I've read from one author and he has said the most devastating thing that can ever happen, even beyond that of losing a spouse, is that of losing a child. Are you all listening to me? I'm not saying that it's not devastating during at this moment, but listen to me. A parent could cry and rather say, why wouldn't you have taken me and leave this child there? For I've spent much of my time and my years. It's devastating indeed. And I'm reminded in times past, I do not know what has happened presently, but I'm reminded in times past, brothers and sisters, there are times we could only hear of a death in a month or maybe several months, and it's an old person probably that has died someplace. And guess what? We all go there and we mourn together. Thank you very much. We could all go up there on the hill and we mourn together. But today it's different. The other day I was down at Sironga. We had a death. We are burying someone here. The very pastor whom had gone to his district is telling me, Pastor, just pick it up there. I'm going to the other side because I've got two members on the other side whom I've got to bury. I've had to call a pastor from a neighboring district to come and help me do that. Death is now all over. Brothers and sisters, let me just read this for us to understand what I'm talking about. While appearing to the children of men as a great physician who can heal their maladies, he will bring disease and disaster unto populous cities are reduced to ruin and desolation. Listen to this. Even now it continues tense. He says, in accidents and in calamities by sea and by land, in great conflagrations, in fierce tornadoes and terrific hailstorms, in tempests, floods and cyclones, in tidal waves and earthquakes in every place. 1,000-fold Satan is exercising his power and is sweeping away the ripening harvest. Wasn't this one of the ripening harvests today?
It was.
Even now he is at work. But God forbid, away with the devil's work.
Amen.
And death has no mercy. It's now taking young and old together. I'm reminded in times past, abana na ubali bokoreke na ubali butindeka bagaka chisukuru ne chisukuru. It is turning against us today. It is fathers that are burying their children. That should awaken our dull senses today, and especially for those I've heard their young tax here, Nyamira for change. I saw all of you, you young, and you're looking visionary. I pray to God